Hey, grade 7s. We're going to be doing 10.6 solving equations. We're going to be looking at inspection, systematic trial, and isolating the variable. 3 ways to solve equations. So first example, John bought 3 CDs. All 3 CDs had the same price. The total cost was $36. What is the cost of 1 CD? The first thing we need to do is we have to assign a variable. We're going to use P, or you can use X or N, it doesn't really matter, to represent the price of 1 CD. The thing is, we can use the same variable for all 3 of them. And if you look at the wording of the problem, this actually tells us why we can use one variable to represent the price for all 3 of them individually. And if you look at it here, it says all 3Ds had the same price. So that means that they're the same item almost. I know that they're different, like there's like some names there, Disco Fever, Rock On, whatever that is, Britney's Duff, or but it's all the same because of the same price. So we're just going to call this one's going to be called P, and this one's going to be called, first one will be P, that one's P, and that one is P. All 3 of them are P's for price. So the first way you can do it is by systematic trial. And this is just trial and error. So you're like, okay, well, I know that the 3 CDs together add up to $36. That's my algebraic equation right there. I know that that's what I have to solve for. So when I try to substitute a value of $10 and I do 3 CDs at $10, that equals to 30. So that's too small, so I have to choose a greater value. Let's say I choose 20. So 3 times 20, or because $20 for each CD is equal to 60, but that's too large, so I use a lesser value. And you finally work it again and again and again until you get the value of $12. And when you input $12 for the value of P right here, so you take out your P and you put in a 12, 3 times 12 is 36. This is a really simplistic way of solving algebraic equations. It does work, but with more complicated equations, it's going to be more difficult. There's inspection. So what you're doing is you're just logically looking at this equation. You're saying, okay, it's 3 times a number equals 36. And you have to think, okay, well, what number has a product of 36 when multiplied by 3? And intuitively, you have to figure it out and go, okay, well, that's 12. So 3 times 12 is 36. So the cost of 1 CD is 12. Never forget your summary statement there. So the cost of 1 CD is $12. You always got to add that in. Third one, my favorite, obviously by far, is isolating the variable. And then we've done this so many times. You isolate the variable. You do the opposite of what is happening to the variable. So right now it's being multiplied by 3. So I just reverse this. I divide both sides by 3. And this is why I love this, is because it's so fast. You cancel out the 3's here, and you're left with P is equal to 12. Very, very, very quick. Leave this up, and you can pause the video, and you can solve by inspection, or you can isolate the variable. So let's try a little bit more difficult one. John bought 3 CDs. This time, however, the price of the CDs aren't the same. CD2 was $1 more than CD1. And CD3 was $3 more than CD1. So now in that first one that we had, the Britney stuff, or the Britney Duff, and the Rock On, all of them were the same price. So we were allowed to say, well, this one's called a P, this one's called a P, and this one's called a P. But now we can't do that because they're actually different prices. So if you just called them P, you'd actually be wrong. So we have to find a way to assign variables to these. The total cost of all 3 CDs combined, so added together, is $46. But I want to know, what is the cost of each CD? I want to know what is CD1, CD2, and CD3. So how do we assign variables? We're going to start off with CD1. We're going to call that one P. And that's just arbitrary decision. Because there's nothing being changed about CD1. CD1 just is a price. We're going to call that one P. We'll start with that. But how do we represent CD2? If we go back to the problem, it says CD2 is $1 more than CD1. So that's like P plus 1, or if you think of it, it's like 1 more. So if CD1 is P, then CD2 has to be the price of CD1, which is P, plus 1. Based on that logic, you could probably figure out what the the variable we can use to replace CD3. The problem said it was $3 more than CD1. Well, if CD1 was P and CD3 is $3 more, you should be able to go, oh, of course, it's CD1's price plus 3. So here's in sum. CD1 is price. CD2 is price plus 1 because it's $1 more than CD1. And CD3 is $3 more. And just another way of looking at this is CD1. Oops, sorry. This is CD1, the P. This is CD1 plus 1. This is CD1 plus 3. But now what do you do now? The question says that the total of the 3 CDs was $46. So this CD plus the price of that CD plus the price of that CD equaled $46. Pause and see if you can pause the video and see if you can figure out what do you do now to create your algebraic. You need to make an equation. So like something on the left is equal to $46, and it's basically the total of the 3 CDs. So if you add the 3 together, it will be 46. So this is what it looks like. P, which is CD1, plus P plus 1, which is CD2, plus P plus 3, which is CD3, is equal to 46. You simplify by putting all the P's together, and there's 3 of them. There's a P, a second P, and a third P. 3P, and I also simplify by grouping the numbers together. Oops, sorry about that. I have 1 and 3, so I have 4. So there are 3 P's on the left side of the equation, and there's 4 numbers, or 4 digits. Then I just do isolating the variable. I add 4, subtract 4 from the other side. And I have 3P is equal to 42, and I divide it, and now I have P equals 14. So make sure that when you've established that P, or the first CD, was $14. So what's the price of the second CD, and what's the price of the third CD? CD2 was P plus 1, so it's 15, and CD3 was P plus 3, it's 17. Verify. You can actually verify your answer. CD1 is 14, CD2 is 15, CD3 is 17. Add them together, 46 equals 46. Boom! That's it.